Hi, my name is Justice Ameer. I use ze, them, and she, her pronouns. I'll be sharing this poetry capsule with you from lands traditionally stewarded by the Narragansett, Pokanoket, and Wampanoag, now known as Providence, Rhode Island. I am a light-skinned Black person wearing a black and white shirt with dark brown braids and chain link earrings. Behind me are white glass panel wood doors, burnt orange walls, and a hanging Oaxacan rug. As a content notice, I would like you to know that the poems in this capsule contain references to racial and sexual violence. I extend care towards you to choose if, when, and how to engage with this poetry writing capsule. Race and gender expose many of us to vilified expectations and normalized threats of violence. In this capsule, I will explore how writers June Jordan and Imani Davis rebel into and against this violence through defiance and metamorphosis. The first piece I'll discuss in this capsule is titled, I Must Become a Menace to My Enemies. It was written by poet and activist June Jordan and published in 1976. This piece begins with the epigraph dedicated to the poet Agostinho Neto, President of the People's Republic of Angola, 1976. I will share an excerpt of sections 2 and 3 of the poem. I must become a menace to my enemies. 2. How many of my brothers and my sisters will they kill before I teach myself retaliation? Shall we pick a number? South Africa, for instance. Do we agree that more than 10,000 in less than a year, but that less than 5,000 slaughtered in more than 6 months will, what is the matter with me? I must become a menace to my enemies. 3. And if I ever let you slide, who should be extirpated from my universe, who should be carterized from earth completely. Law and order jerk-offs of the terrorist degree. Then let my body fail my soul in its bedeviled lecheries. And if I ever let love go, because the hatred and the whisperings become a phantom dictate I obey in lieu of impulse and realities, the blossoming flamingos of my wild mimosa trees. Then let love freeze me out. I must become a menace to my enemies. I welcome you to join me in a deep breath. This piece serves as a call to action from June Jordan, or the speaker, to themselves. In the first stanza, which precedes the excerpt I shared, the speaker rebukes a presumably racist reaction somebody has to them, with a charge to take control of their own fate. The speaker goes on to process the pain and anger of oppression and white supremacy's impact on her kinfolk, Black people, as suggested by the reference to South Africa. This further motivates the speaker's ambition to, quote, become a menace to their enemies, unquote. In the final stanza, the speaker dictates that becoming a menace is not a matter of revenge, it is an act of love, and that maintaining love is vital to this transformation. Now I will read the poem Blood Wave by Imani Davis, published in 2017. Blood Wave. Having shed the myth of safety, I arrive wearing caution like a layer of blush. Comb what's his name's party for an incorrect twitch or a shadow coated in slick. A forgettable DJ escorts the crowd to all our favorite nowheres. I'm here for blurry fun, but this pulsing room of abandoned home training sharpens my every attempt I make at dullness. When left to their own devices, the survivor will always face the door, will always keep track of who knows the words to the rapist's most popular tracks. My body arches feral, and I don't mean all the teeth I bear at the baseline of men lining the walls, constant and dirty as death. Defense just conquers me so none of them can. I'm okay with this type of surrender. Somewhere, a man doesn't ask for a dance and creates a new meaning for tape. Tonight, I drink myself historyless and improperly free. Again, I welcome you to join me in a deep breath. In this piece, Imani Davis details the scene of a party with visceral imagery. Here, the speaker, only looking to be carefree, is lured into hypervigilance by threats of gendered violence that are far too commonplace within party spaces and culture. This expectation is made clear in the opening line, quote, having shed the myth of safety, I arrive wearing caution like a layer of blush, unquote. This danger is something the speaker seemingly knows well or may have faced before. As the poem progresses, the speaker leans into a more combative facade, like a moth spreading its wings to make itself look bigger. This morphing mirrors the change within the speaker in Jordan's poem. By the end of this piece, this fortified shape allows the speaker to repel these threats enough to embrace a more carefree joy. Both of these poems speak to mundane yet inescapable dangers faced by many oppressed peoples, especially Black women and non-binary people. They showcase how these threats can make us hyper aware of our own identities and the perceptions others impose on us, especially in regards to gender, queerness, race, and ability. The tragedy of these pieces is how many of us are forced to mold our vulnerability into a shield or a shell, especially Black women and non-binary people. However, both pieces push beyond simply donning armor. I chose these two poems because they each represent a refusal to allow stereotypes and the threat of violence to define the speaker. Instead, these poems each serve as a rebellion. The speakers stand defiant, evolving past expectations. Rather than adapting or shrinking to dangers and assumptions out of safety, each speaker reaffirms their autonomy as acts of self-defense and liberatory indignation. Now, I'd like to share a writing prompt with you exploring these themes. Feel free to engage with this prompt how you choose. You may want to pause the video after each section of the prompt to give yourself space to write. First, jot down a setting or situation where you tend to feel particularly aware of yourself or more attentive than usual. This could be at a work meeting or on a dating app. It could be at church or while driving or when you meet a new person. Next, think of someone or something that created an expectation of you that you didn't hold for yourself already. This expectation could be from someone you know or don't know, or from something you read, or a test you took, or space you're in. The expectation could be positive, negative, or neutral. Now, list 3 or more objects, people, or sensations whose presence brings you comfort or makes you feel powerful. These will be your talismans. Finally, write a poem in which you are confronted with an expectation. Meet this expectation by transforming or transmuting yourself into another form. The choice of what form to take is yours. It can be psychological or mythical. It could be metaphoric or literal. Let this be a form that fills you with strength or defiance or courage, however you define those for yourself. Use the setting or situation you wrote as a container or as a chrysalis to mold this transformation. You may summon the talismans you listed to aid you in your transformation or support you in your rebellion. I would like to thank Kristina Monson and Lavender Sinay from ProBono ASL for providing ASL interpretation. Thank you for joining me in this writing capsule.